Revolution number 3 is bringing back the importance of the glue. Is the third active part of your racket. First revolution was speed glue. Second revolution was banning of speed glue when manufacturers improve a lot the quality of blades and rubbers. And now you have to enjoy revolution number 3 glue. We'll demonstrate today the effect of revolution number 3 cleaner and rejuvenator. It is water based. Let's see how it looks an old rubber and how it becomes after cleaning. Just 2-3 droplets on the rubber, and with your hand you perfectly clean the rubber. The adherence is improved and maintained. Same on the other rubber. And now you can play enjoying better spin. Thank you. Let's see first how the glue looks after it is glued. So we are trying to peel the rubber, and it is really very simple to peel. So the adherence of the glue is not so hard. You cannot damage the blade or the rubber. Now we will peel off the glue, starting from one side. The initial glue was not so thick, but as you see, we can peel it without any problem. And the rubber is elastic, very, very elastic, so it's improving the quality of the ball bouncing. Spin and control. The blade is clean, really clean, and we don't have any problem in damaging the blade. Same with the other one. Very simple to peel off. Let's see how much glue we have on this one. This is how revolution number 3 looks and works. Everyone can see that this interface is very elastic and of course is helping to improve the ball control, the spin and the speed. The blade is clean and not damaged. Very easy. Like this it must look. This surface is smooth, clean, as you see, very elastic, and for sure it's improving the quality of bouncing of the ball. After peeling off, sponge remains absolutely perfect. Let's try another one. This glue is not having more than 0.405 millimeters thickness, and you see it is really very elastic. sponge remains clean. This is how it must look. It's obviously for anyone that the elasticity will help in obtaining best results. Sometimes we need just more speed and more spin. Then the way to obtain it is to get the rubber off and add one more layer of glue on the racket and on the rubber. So practically the thickness of the glue must be increased, and you don't peel it off because you need it. You work for that, and it is very easy. This you can do in sport hall. Just add some more. With the sponge, spread it all over. Let it dry naturally. This is the right quantity of glue. It has to be applied for one layer. The viscosity is having the feature of self-leveling, especially designed for self-leveling action. We let this dry. We show you how to use revolution number 3 to assemble perfectly your racket. First of all, you need to weight the rubbers, the blade, in original packaging, before cutting, with glue, without glue, so in order to know exactly what is the weight you like of your racket. You just weigh them, note everything. This is having 88 grams. One rubber 65 grams, 68.4. So we start applying revolution number 3. First of all, you need the right quantity on the rubber for one layer and the right quantity on the blade. For normal use, I recommend 1-2 layers on rubber and one layer on blade. For professional use, it will be 3-5 layers on rubber and 2 layers on the blade. You'll get used with the viscosity, with the self-leveling effect of this rubber, and as you see, this kind of sponge, it's easy to use, and there is much more effectiveness in using it. The best way is to let it dry naturally. But if you are forced, you can use a hair dryer. But we recommend that the distance should be big enough not to dry it with very hot air. If you are using a dryer, every layer is dried in less than 30 seconds. If you are letting dry naturally, depending on the quantity you put it on the rubber, you can wait 10, 15 or 20 minutes. For example, I can help drying like this. Now already you can see the self-leveling effect. It is very shiny, and it's clear that the thickness of the glue, it will be the same on the whole surface. Okay, we'll let this here to dry, and meanwhile I will show you how to glue top sheets on sponge. This is really very interesting because right now no water-based glue can do that with such performance like this one, because of the specially designed viscosity and leveling features of this glue. You can use just one layer of glue on the sponge and one layer on the pimples, and you can perfectly glue them without having any problems in the future. This is the only glue that can do that. Let's see the way to do it. As you see, just use small quantities for putting on the pimples. Not too much, not to go between the pimples. That quantity, it will be enough to glue them. I will show you how it looks. On the sponge. And I will let them dry. Naturally. Long pimples, rubbers, which are really delicate to be glued and really very difficult to be peeled off. You can put only one layer on the very smooth and delicate surface of the long pimples, ox rubber, and one layer on blade. If you want better speed, you just put 2 or 3 layers on the long pimples. Okay, let's do it. What is important is that you can peel it off, which is really very difficult for many long Pimples rubbers. There is no problem to let the glue on the rubbers or on blade, because you have time enough, it's not coagulating, and is not drying, so you cannot adjust the layer with the sponge. Okay. I can work a lot, and if needed, I can glue 10 rackets very, very fast. What I recommend is not to glue in the sport hall, because moisture and lack of attention and not having enough time will make you not to be very careful on what you are doing. It is really very important that you know exactly how many layers you used for obtaining the best result. And this, after experiments, after you make 2-3 gluing, will help you design your own racket, so it will have always same weight, same speed, same thickness of the rubbers, and same control and same spin. Practically, the layer of the glue is like an active supplementary rubber between blade and sponge. There are two surfaces that must be connected, and revolution number 3 is doing this in the most proper way. Because you have an elastic surface of wood, but a different elasticity than the elasticity of the rubber. And between them, you need a connection, which you saw. It is very elastic, tough elastic, and could be designed the thickness as the player wants. Now, I will demonstrate to you how revolution number 3 gluing sheet can be used in gluing the rubber. So, for factory tuning, or just for anyone that wants not to wait too much to glue his rubbers, we made a film, a very elastic film, very delicate film, that is having 0.5 millimeters thickness, that can be used already to glue on rubber. Just not making the whole process of gluing. We will use very few droplets of glue to obtain a thicker surface on the delicate surface. And after drying, we will add this adhesive sheet. This can be used also for the long Pimples, but it's not really necessary. This is specially for tuning in factory. As we see, the Pimples are already dried, shiny, because the quantity was very small. But we have to wait until the other one is ready. As we see, the Pimples are already dried, shiny, because the quantity was very small. but we have to wait until the other one is ready. This one, it is a top glued on the sponge, and as you see, the adherence is just perfect, and the quality of the surface of the rubber, it's exactly how it must be. Same thing with this one. It is the same. It's a top sheet glued on sponge, and it is very well glued. Just one layer of adhesive on Pimples, just one on rubber, and you can see the quality of the top. So it's really perfect. What we have done here, we already put it a layer of adhesive just to use it when needed, and can be protected with any foil, and you can use it whenever you like, just to add it on a certain surface. And we will use it on the forehand of this blade with the Pimples, with the long Pimples rubber. As you see, even after minutes, you can readjust the surface and make it and correcting it, so there is nothing really special. For the professional use, I recommend the best recipe could be 2-3 layers on the rubber and 2 layers on the blade. We can work on the clean rubbers. You remember that these rubbers have been covered by glue. The sponge remains perfectly clean, so you can use it again. You can put the glue on, because maybe you have decided to do this, to glue some rubbers, and then you can preserve them and use it whenever you like in the sport hole. You can preserve them with things like this, or just plastic or silicone or whatever it is, and use it in the sport hole. Let's see how the glue works on gnocchi blades or on lacquered blades. It is as simple as that. You let it dry. It is as simple as that. And you let it dry, and it will have cell leveling effect. Everything will be fine. This sponge is specially designed for revolution number 3, and it is much more easy to use than any other type of sponge. Depending on depending on the capacities of the bottles, sponge is having different dimensions. You can use it for almost how much you use the glue, and it is really very simple to reuse it without damaging it and saving nature. You just wash it after you can just. Second, we will take the glue sheet, we take the protection foil off, and then put it also on the sponge. That after that it can be used like having already the glue on it. So now you have a rubber that can be glued already, but I will keep it like this just to preserve it. First, I have to glue the soft rubber on forehand, because I don't want to damage the surface of adhesive. I have to protect it with some release foil that is having silicone on it, so the adhesive is not adherent on it, as you see. Okay? And for better fitting the rubber, I can take off the protection foil, or I can keep it. Depends on the rubber, depends on type of protection foil. Being a Chinese foil, Chinese rubber, I prefer to take it off. As you remember, that is a surface, that is a rubber made by gluing top sheets on sponge. And this rubber was pre-glued 1.5 months or 2 months ago, and now it is ready to use. The Revolution number 3 roller, which is designed to obtain the perfect match with the rubber and the blade. I will fix it carefully and then use the roller to glue it. Now the surface is glued. As you see, the adherence is okay, and I can cut it. I prefer always to make something like this on the margin, just to obtain a better contour for the rubber. And You can see how good it is. Another tip, small tips but valuable, is to use the right scissors. The right scissors, the end is small in order to cut small, and the arm is big in order to have enough force to cut it. So cutting with this kind of scissor it's easy. The layer of adhesive is very elastic. Here it is. Now I will put the protection foil back on the rubber. It doesn't matter how it looks as long as it works. And I will cut it to obtain a protection foil. Okay, let's see how the pre-glued layer of adhesive looks after several months. As you see, it is elastic and it will be the same on my rubber, on my blade. Very simple. So, now there are some more tips for gluing long pimples. The best way is to use a silicone rubber, a silicone foil, protection foil, to do this. You just fix it on the glue and let the margin that you have to fix near the handle, like this, you'll fix it without any problem. So you have to take care of this part, which is more delicate and hard to obtain the best fit. And then slowly you take it off and let a small surface of glue uncovered and let it drop on the blade. Simple. Taking it off again, releasing another surface, tapping slowly to glue it. As you saw, the most delicate surface of gluing is long pimples ox on blades, because sometimes the adhesive, being too thick, is not uniform and some of the pimples are not at the same level with the others. By this system, you always will obtain a perfect surface. And as promised, perfect surface of long pimples. Every player with long pimples knows how difficult it is to obtain such a surface, and how difficult it is after you use some long pimples to reuse it without damaging it on a different blade or on the same blade. Again, take a look on the quality of gluing and of glue itself. If one wants more speed, can add more layers of glue. I will cut it. And now you have a perfect long pimples racket. So, 2 layers of glue on rubbers and 2 layers of glue on blades. They are ready for assembly. I'm going to use the protection silicone foil. The roller. So, here it is. As you see, the adherence is good, it's okay. The other one, okay. One is ready, another one is coming. This time I will fix it with the protection foil on it to see that there is no difference, no significant difference. The other one is ready and can be cut in the same way as the first one. Always the best way to assemble the racket is to use a clicky press. Normally we can put exactly as it is, or use some protection foil for the rubbers and put it in the clicky press. Keep it for one night, and like this you obtain the best results. Like this you tension the rubbers and the glue will work perfectly. In the end, some tips that are useful for you. So don't glue in the sport hole. Moisture and time pressure will make you to pay less attention to gluing, which is a very important fact. Second, weight your rubbers, weight the blade before and after gluing to know exactly what is your recipe. So let layers dry naturally until from white they become perfectly transparent and tacky. Use the roller to stick the rubbers on blades and use the right scissors to cut your rubbers. Always use a clicky press to obtain the best result for adherence and for uniformity of your layer. Keep rackets in the press for the night to obtain the best results. Enjoy playing like a pro with Revolution number 3. Here we have already one more layer of glue on the rubber and one on blade. We are going to assembly using this roller. If you missed it, you can try again, and with the roller as you see, very simple, you use it. We use Revolution number 3 cleaner and rejuvenation. For the rubber. Now it's practically ready to go. First layer of adhesive. And we have to apply the second one. Simple and fast. Do not use circular motion, it's not necessary, but you can do also this if you like. All these bubbles are disappearing in time, and it's getting a perfect, smooth, shiny aspect after drying. So don't worry if it looks like this. It's self-leveling, and in the final you'll obtain the best quality. Smooth and uniform surface of a very elastic layer, like the speed glue had. It is really important the thickness of this layer. If it is between 0.5 millimeters and 0.8 millimeters, you obtain the perfect response for the ball. Perfect bouncing, perfect spin, perfect speed, perfect control, and much better. And you can also have the sound, the click sound, that is so appreciated by all players in the world. All the surfaces are prepared with only one layer of glue. So, what we have here, we have an old glue, old rubber, prepared 1 month ago, ready to be used, which was protected with a protection foil, and it will be ready to use. We are going to use it on a blade with long pimples. Take a look on the quality of the glue on the long pimples rubber. It is smooth, shiny, and perfectly uniform. Okay, what we have here, we have one very, very fine layer of adhesive on a rubber that was composed by a sponge and a top sheet, and it was glued with revolution number 3, and we are going to add revolution number 3 glue sheet, a glue that it's already having 0.5 millimeters. What we have here, it is a top sheet where we have used very small quantity of glue, and we are going to fix it with the rubber that is having also one layer of glue. I will start with assembly of a rubber top sheet on sponge. Very important, small tip but important, is that you put the sponge on the pimples, not the rubber on sponge. So if you do so, you obtain a perfect match, and you can press it like this and obtain the best quality of gluing. Normally, this is how it looks. This is the quality of the surface. So it's practically like factory glue. Already, the adherence is very good of the pimples on sponge, as you see, and you can use it. But you have to let the glue to make the effect, and usually to put some weights or keep it in a press 1 night or 24 hours. Then you can use it. Remember the products. First of all, the glue, revolution number 3, special sponge, gluing sheet, roller, press, cleaner, and the special operations that we made. we can glue Pimples, long Pimples, ox perfectly, and also top sheets on sponge. Enjoy playing like a pro with revolution number 3.